All right, so today we're going to deep dive into a game that's a bit of a head-scratcher. S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2. Heart of Chornobyl. You've probably heard of it, right? Maybe even snagged a copy already.
A lot of buzz around this one.
But the story of how this game even got released, it's wild. Picture this. Development starts way back in 2010.
2010.
The studio goes belly up, gets revived.
Like a phoenix from the ashes.
Exactly. And then delay after delay. And to top it all off, war breaks out in the very region the game is set in.
Honestly, you'd think that would be the final nail in the coffin.
Right. You'd expect a game forged in that kind of chaos to be a total disaster, but here's the thing, it's not.
Not even close.
We're seeing glowing reviews, sales are through the roof,
A whole lot of hype.
and nobody seems to care that the game is, well, let's just say it's a little rough around the edges.
A little rough.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly.
This is what makes S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 so fascinating. It's a game that seems to thrive on. Well, we call it jank in the industry. Maybe we should explain that before we go any further.
Yeah, good point. For those who haven't heard the term, jank in gaming, it basically means those moments where a game feels a bit unpolished,
Yeah, buggy.
clunky.
Animations are a little stiff, or the AI does something completely bonkers.
Exactly. It's not necessarily game-breaking, but it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah, and in most cases, developers try to avoid that kind of stuff at all costs.
Polish is usually the goal.
But with S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2, it's like this jank is part of the appeal. We're seeing very positive reviews on Steam, over 10,000 of them.
Which is amazing.
With players praising the game for capturing that authentic S.T.A.L.K.E.R feel, glitches and all.
It's almost as if the jank itself adds to the atmosphere. You know, the sense of immersion. You're exploring this desolate, irradiated world, facing unpredictable threats.
And the game's technical hiccups just become part of that unpredictability.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying. It's like those old horror movies
Yeah.
where the shaky camera work actually makes it scarier.
Yeah, kind of like that. But let's get specific here. What kind of jank are we actually talking about in S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2? Give us the juicy details.
Well, from what I've seen in reviews and gameplay footage, we're seeing everything from weird physics interactions,
Like what?
like objects flying around for no reason, to the AI behaving in ways that are more hilarious than threatening.
Oh, man.
Some players have reported getting stuck in the environment, texture pop in, the occasional crash.
Oh, the classics. And yet, people are loving it. I mean, the sales numbers don't lie.
They really don't.
The game shot straight to the top of the Steam charts, peaking at over 114,000 concurrent players. Not bad for a single-player niche title.
Especially considering this was all happening on a Thursday morning.
Yeah, not even a prime weekend launch.
It really shows the level of anticipation and dedication from the fan base.
So what is it about S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 that's resonating so strongly with players, even with all this talk of jank? What's the magic ingredient that makes this flawed experience so compelling? We'll try to figure that out in the next segment.
It seems like the magic ingredient might just be how S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 caters to a specific type of gamer. You know the ones. The ones who value depth and challenge, over-polish and hand-holding.
Ah, so you're saying it's not for everyone.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Some people prefer their music perfectly produced in a studio, while others crave that raw energy of a live performance, even with a few off-key notes here and there.
So S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is like the live concert of video games. I kind of like that.
Yeah, it definitely has that untamed, unpredictable energy
Yeah.
that you just don't find in a lot of modern games these days.
Makes sense.
It throws you into this harsh, unforgiving world and basically says, figure it out, survive.
No hand-holding.
Nope. No quest markers leading you by the hand. No mini-map telling you where to go.
Sounds intense.
It is. You have to rely on your wits, your intuition, and a whole lot of trial and error.
And that seems to be exactly what S.T.A.L.K.E.R fans were looking for. Some of the most positive Steam reviews. They specifically talk about how S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 nails that sense of exploration, that feeling of being truly lost and alone in a dangerous world.
Yeah, I read one review that said, that's all I wanted from a S.T.A.L.K.E.R game. To feel like I'm actually surviving, not just playing a game.
Wow.
It really speaks to that desire for an experience that goes beyond the typical power fantasy of most video games.
Yeah, you're not just playing a character, you're inhabiting a role. A survivor in this unforgiving wasteland.
Exactly.
And the jank. Those unexpected moments, they almost reinforce that feeling of vulnerability. You never quite know what's going to happen next.
Right, that element of surprise. It keeps you engaged, keeps you thinking on your feet. And we can't forget about the modding community, another thing PC gamers love.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is built on an engine that's notoriously mod-friendly.
So players can tweak and adjust the game to their liking.
Exactly. They can fix bugs, add content, even create entirely new experiences.
It's like this collaborative project between the developers and the players.
Yeah, the community really takes ownership of the game and shapes it to fit their vision.
That's something you rarely see in big-budget console titles.
It's a PC gaming thing for sure.
But let's be real for a second. Not everyone's gonna love Stalker 2's quirks.
Sure.
50 quid is a pretty steep price tag.
Especially these days.
Profilers. Especially those who are new to the Stalker series. They're gonna be turned off by the jank, the bugs, the performance issues.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
There's a fine line between endearing jank and just plain frustration.
For sure.
And Stalker 2 definitely crosses that line sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty harsh reviews out there. People complaining about game-breaking bugs, crashes, performance issues.
Understandable.
So how do we reconcile these two perspectives? On the one hand, you've got this passionate community, embracing the game's flaws as part of its charm. And on the other hand, you've got players feeling ripped off by the lack of polish, especially at that price point.
It's a tough one.
Is there a middle ground here?
I think the key is understanding expectations. If you go into Stalker 2 expecting a seamless AAA experience, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, probably.
But if you approach it knowing that this is a game built on ambition, a willingness to push boundaries, even at the cost of some technical hiccups,
Then you might actually love it.
you might find yourself captivated by its flawed brilliance.
Flawed brilliance. I love that.
It really sums up the Stalker 2 experience.
It does, but it also raises the question, does the success of a game like this signal a shift in what players value? Are gamers becoming more accepting of jank in exchange for unique, innovative experiences?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
It's hard to say for sure whether Stalker 2 is an anomaly or a sign of things to come.
I guess we need more data.
We need to look at the bigger picture, compared to other games that have tried to walk this tightrope between ambition and execution.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Are there other games out there that have pulled this off? Games that are successful despite being, well, a little janky?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are definitely some interesting comparisons we can make. Games that have embraced those rough edges and still found success. Like Dwarf Fortress, for example. That game's famous for its ASCII graphics.
Dwarf Fortress. We're losing this fun.
And its incredibly complex systems.
Yeah.
But it's been a cult classic for years. It's inspired so many other games.
Yeah, I've played a bit of Dwarf Fortress. And I have to admit, it's strangely compelling, all that complexity. It just throws you in the deep end.
Exactly.
It's like learning a whole new language.
That sense of discovery, of unraveling the game's mysteries, that's a big part of its appeal.
Yeah, makes you feel smart.
It respects the player's intelligence. It challenges them to think critically and rewards them for their effort.
And in a way, Stalker 2 does something similar.
It really does.
It doesn't shy away from complexity.
It embraces it.
It throws you in the deep end.
Yeah.
And lets you figure things out on your own.
So maybe we're seeing a resurgence of this kind of hardcore gaming experience. Players are tired of being spoon-fed. They're craving something that demands more of them.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look at the success of games like Escape from Tarkov.
Oh yeah, great example.
Or Kingdom Come, Deliverance.
Both of those games have their fair share of jank,
For sure.
but they also offer incredibly detailed and rewarding gameplay.
And they both have dedicated fan bases.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget about the indie scene, always pushing boundaries, experimenting with new ideas.
Games like Kenshi or RimWorld, they embrace emergent storytelling, complex systems,
And yes, a certain degree of jank.
to create experiences that are both challenging and captivating.
So maybe Stalker 2 is just riding this wave, this renewed interest in games that prioritize depth over polish.
Games that aren't afraid to show their rough edges.
It's a testament to the power of a passionate development team, a dedicated fan base, and a willingness to embrace imperfection.
And it poses a really interesting question for the future of gaming. Does the success of Stalker 2 signal a shift in what players value? Will we see more developers taking risks, prioritizing innovation over polish?
Knowing that there's an audience out there that craves this kind of experience.
Or is this just a special case? A love letter to a beloved franchise that goes beyond the usual expectations?
It's a tough question. Maybe it's a bit of both. Maybe Stalker 2 is both a unique case and a sign of things to come.
It's definitely sparked a conversation.
About what we value in our games.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most memorable experiences come from those unexpected moments
Those glitches in the Matrix.
that make us laugh, scratch our heads.
And ultimately, feel more connected to the world we're exploring.
So next time you encounter a bit of jank in your favorite game, maybe don't be so quick to dismiss it.
Take a moment to appreciate the humanity behind it, the ambition it represents, and the potential for unique and memorable experiences.
Yeah, it might just surprise you.
So on that note, we'll leave you to ponder that very question. What do you think about the balance between polish and innovation in games? Does a little bit of jank enhance the experience, or is it a deal breaker?
Let us know your thoughts.
Until next time, happy gaming, and remember, sometimes the most interesting discoveries are found in the most unexpected places.